Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Welcome, beautiful people. It is day 1, 2, 3. Trace, come on with the multilingual. I see you. Of the $1 Million Marriage Challenge. I'm one of your hosts, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And of course, I have my amazing queen with us. Please introduce yourself to the wonderful people.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Do me a favor, Sinclair.
Yes.
On the roadcast over there, to make sure our volume is sounding crisp today, go ahead and push that up. Yeah. All right. Now you see the green bars moving on the far left. On the far, yeah, right there. You see those bars? That means we're going through. Love to see it. All right. So it has been an amazing 3 days. Right, we're gonna go through it, but we want to know from you all, if you've been here since day 1 with Lovey and Snooks, Ernie and Rana, go ahead and put inside the chat anything that you've taken away from the challenge. We hope you've had the opportunity to actually go to those workbooks, right? Do the extra little bit of literal homework. But if you haven't, you just been listening, consuming, go ahead and drop inside the comments, who you are, right? Your name, city you are repping. But also go ahead and put anything that you are taking away as an action item for yourself and for your household. Okay. Queen, can we get into some slides? Let's do it. So, of course, the purpose of the $1 Million Marriage Challenge, MDMC, is to help couples create lifelong love and wealth. Whether you've been together for 20 years or 20 minutes, we want to reconnect you with each other. And of course, we want to see how we can intentionally align your values. Coach T yesterday did a nice deep dive on values, mantra, mission, creed, and the words. LOPs, life operating principles, right? What is the code that operates your life? Queen, why else have we started this challenge?
Also to help folks create a strategic plan for how to build generational wealth, right? We are co-hosts of the M4 Show, aka the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. So we are all about married couples really being intentional about creating wealth, but also wealth that you can pass down to those future generations. We got to set them up. So that we don't have to all do this, get it from the mud.
That's a fact. That's a fact, right? Let's build off of each other's legacy and greatness. All right. So again, as a replay or as a review of what we've covered so far. Day 1, we had marriage and communication and comprehension with Lovey and Snooks. Queen, what is one takeaway that you're hoping either I'm taking from day 1 or you've gotten from day 1 with Lovey and Snooks?
Really just to reevaluate, right? We both redid the DISC assessment, the flight assessment this time, and we both got different, highest values or for where we stand in our personality, right? I used to be analytical. Now I'm more in the pilot seat, right? And we actually both tested in the pilot seat. Yeah. So we have the conversation of, that kind of makes sense for where we are in our lives right now, but we now have to do our homework on what does that mean for us? Because we both can't fly the plane, right?
That's a fact. There are co-pilots.
There are.
But I think we need to figure out for us, and again, this is live learning for us for this challenge, is when should Sinclair be the pilot and when should Devon be the co-pilot, and then vice versa. What departments, right? I think that's what we talked about with Lovey and Snooks. There's departments and pillars within your relationship, and there should be a driver or a pilot within those different departments.
Yep.
All right. Let's see, what else did we talk about? On day 2, we had the amazing Coach T come through from TMG Consulting to do life operating principles and family values, really reminding us that we are important, in order for us to do important work, we need to see ourselves as important people, right? So he gave you a lot of stuff to work on as far as what is your identity, what's your values, and what are the words that you're saying to yourself every single day consciously so that you can go to the right destination, right? Queen, anything to add on that?
And the systems. I'm a systems person.
Word?
So I really took that away of like, what are your life systems?
Yeah.
What are the systems within your marriage that just keep your family unit a well-oiled machine? How do you operate as a family unit, as a married couple? How do you handle money? How do you handle the household? How do you, like, all those things?
Yeah.
It's important to flesh out ahead of time.
100%. And last but not least, definitely not last actually, because we have someone coming tomorrow. But today we're going to be going over building generational wealth. There's a lot of different avenues I think that we could go with generational wealth. This is going to be a nice overview, introduction, maybe a review for some people, but really wanting to introduce folks to the different pathways and hopefully give y'all functional steps. All right, after you leave this session, this is the question you should be asking yourselves. This is the homework you should be doing. And these may be some of the people or professionals you may want to start reaching out to. All right, so definitely, if you don't already, break out your notepad, your phone, your voice recorder, your whiteboard, anything that you need to actually take tangible notes so that after the session, you and your family can get to the bag. All right. Queen, anything else before we get into it?
I see there's a comment. Is that our comment?
That is me reminding folks to introduce themselves in the chat.
Gotcha.
Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, definitely make sure you give this video a like everywhere that you're watching, and go ahead and introduce yourself inside the chat. Name, city, and anything that you've learned or picked up so far, even if it's a reminder for yourself, right? Maybe you already knew about life operating principles, but it's been a minute since you revisited your mantra. All right, so go ahead and put that inside the chat. We love to see the energy. Okay, so I want to get into it, Queen. There's a lot to talk about. Can I? Watch out. Let me get into it. Let me get into my bag. You know what I'm saying? Let me get into it. So the last thing that we have to cover, y'all, is tomorrow we will have Marjorie McPike here, who is a certified CPA. So she'll come through and she'll talk to us about some specific strategies on minimizing the taxes that we are paying. Right? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a married couple, a business owner, a homeowner, a parent, there are some tax deductions and tax strategies that you probably need in order to get the most back at the end of the year. So make sure you tap in tomorrow. It's going to be at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also streaming right here. And of course, y'all get the notifications, y'all. Now, what was that, Sinclair? Oh, you need my password. No problem, Queen. So, disclaimer, right? And this is a industry standard when it comes to talking about any type of finances, security, investments, right? We are not experts. We are not financial professionals. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only, Grandy. So make sure y'all take your notes. Make sure y'all talk to your financial professional after this and you create a personalized wealth strategy for yourself. We're going to be talking about a lot of dope, really good, intentional things today, and really want to make sure you take those notes. And afterwards, you make a plan. You make an action plan to actually build out that wealth. All right. If you're rocking with us, go ahead and take out that notepad. Now, we're going to talk about 4 pathways to wealth. If you think you know one of them, go ahead and drop it inside the comments, drop it inside the chat. If you think or you know for sure one of the pathways to wealth, go ahead and drop them inside the chat. And while I wait for some of those to come in, I want just do a little bit of a side. So we have the privilege of this year starting to do a little bit of work in some high schools. And some of the curriculum that we're going over today, some of the points that we're going over today are things that we're also talking to high schoolers about, middle schoolers about, and really getting them in the mindset of wealth creation. All right, think about if you could go back 10, 15, 20, 30 years to be 15 and know about stocks, know about entrepreneurship, know about the different pathways that you could have started building wealth 20 years ago. Imagine where you would be today. right? So again, this information is really good, but it's also practical. So you'll be able to make some tangible steps forward. And if you have kids, feel free to bring them into this conversation or start having these types of discussions with them. Even if they're 9 years old, tell them about LLCs, right? Even if they're 15 years old, start talking to them about retirement plans and 401ks, because you never know what type of impact that can have, right? So again, 4 pathways to wealth. Let's get into it. These are the 4 that we are going to cover today. All right. So we have entrepreneurship. And if you didn't know, 88% of millionaires in America are self-made entrepreneurs. All right. They didn't get it all from their parents, trust fund babies. They got it by being self-made entrepreneurs, according to Fidelity, which is a investment and financial firm. 30% of the wealth of millionaires is being invested in the stock market. And we're going to talk about the stock market today. 90% of the world's millionaires are invested in real estate somehow, some way. What's going on, Alondu? Welcome back to the party. You're 3 for 3, sir. If we were given a perfect attendance award, you would have it, my brother. Who else is in the building? I know Coach Ash was here day 1 and day 2. We had some Facebook users here day 1, day 2. Feel free as you join to go ahead and introduce yourself. All right. And then lastly, intellectual property. All right, according to the United States Patent and Trademark Office, in 2012, all right, so this is a minute ago, but in 2012, there was $112.5 billion made by licensing intellectual property. All right. So we want to get into how you and your family can start to take advantage of some of these wealth strategies. Now, if you don't know our story, I want to talk a little bit about what we do within Play Black Wall Street. All right. So this is, if you don't know, you can go to playblackwallstreet.com, learn a little bit more about what we have going on. But I wholeheartedly believe, and I say this every week almost on our podcast, that every family should have some type of business. Every family, I think, should have some form of income coming in, even if you have a 9 to 5 job. I think in addition to the 9 to 5, you, your queen, your partner should also make sure you have a separate entity that's bringing in income that you can pass down to the next generation. That's me. All right. If y'all disagree, y'all agree, put into the comments. Let me know. I've taken a lot of smoke, a lot of fire for my opinion on this, but I will stand by it. I think every family, especially if you're serious about wealth, should have some type of LLC, corporation, nonprofit, sole proprietor, some business structure outside of your 9 to 5. And what me and the queen have been able to build since about 2000, and technically started in 16, but we really got going in 2018, is Play Black Wall Street. And through Play Black Wall Street, what we do is we offer, of course, this beautiful, amazing family fun board game for people to learn the history of Tulsa's Black Wall Street in a fun way, learn the different business structures that they are, right? So when in the game, you start off as a sole proprietor. You then can reinvest in Madam CJ Walker Beauty Salon, or we reinvest in William Dreamland Theater or Uncle Steve's Barbecue, all real businesses that existed during Tulsa's Black Wall Street. You can reinvest and take it from a sole proprietor to an LLC, limited liability company. And then once you own all of one market, like all of the barbershops, all of the schools, all of the grocery stores, you then can start making corporations, right? So even in the game, what we wanted to do was we wanted to solve 2 problems. One, the fact that not enough people know about Tulsa's Black Wall Street, right? We even had the privilege of going out to Oklahoma, going out to Tulsa, and even folks out there didn't know or connect directly to the history of Greenwood or Black Wall Street, Little Africa. Definitely people out here in California weren't aware of it. So we wanted to create a game that can help teach people about that history in a fun way, but also how can we increase financial literacy and increase entrepreneurship rates within the Black community specifically. All right. So let's see. Alondu saying he's gonna go into real estate. Love it. Love it. All right. We're going to talk about real estate in a second. If you got some nuggets on your own experience or journey, definitely feel free to share. All right. But getting back into it. All right. So this is just our kind of our credentials. We started Play Black Wall Street 2018. That first year was a little bit of a struggle, a little bit rough. But after the first 2 years, 2019, 2020, really started to pick up and gain a little bit more revenue. And then we expanded our business model this year to offer our services to schools. And that has really been a beautiful, beautiful experience for us, being able to really expand what we do and scale the financial literacy impact that we're able to have. All right. So I bring all that up to say, y'all better stay streaming. Hey, y'all heard that song? I think it's Still Scheming by Rick Ross and maybe Drake's on there. But I think you should stay streaming, y'all. And by streaming, I mean income streams. Okay. Research shows that millionaires often pursue numerous income streams. 65% of millionaires have at least 3 income streams. All right. Do not rely on just your 9-to-5 job. Do not rely on just your entrepreneurship or small business. You should have multiple streams coming in just in case something happens and globally shipping delays. Just in case something happens and globally people don't go outside. Right? You want to be able to have multiple streams of income. So, okay, if this happens, then I'm gonna shift over to this business. Oh, but if this happens, I'm gonna shift over to this business. And if this happens, all 4 businesses are actually going to benefit. Right? So have multiple streams available because you want to make sure that your economic wealth is durable. You want to make sure your economic well-being for your family is flexible to the status and the ups and downs of the economy. All right. So make sure y'all have those 3 streams of income. If you're watching live, put 3 streams in the chat. Just put the word 3 streams inside the chat. All right. 3 streams. Yes. There it is. All right. Let's keep it going. So, entrepreneurship. This is the first one we're going to cover. All right. Go ahead. If you are an entrepreneur already, you can put a solid 1 in the chat. Own any business. I don't care how big, how small your business is. If you started a lemonade stand when you were 7, put 1 in the chat. And then if you're thinking about starting a lemonade stand, writing a book, starting a podcast, starting a real estate company, development company, anything like that, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. Right? If it's already established, put a 1. If you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, go ahead and put a 2. All right. Now, I'm gonna cover a little bit of stats, and I got my glasses on, but this is still a little hard to read. But I'm gonna rock with y'all. All right. I remember some of these. So 86% of millionaires are married. Think about that. I know a lot of people out there who are like, man, Devon, I'm trying to get to the bag. I'm trying to get this money. Okay. But 86% of millionaires are married. So what does that tell you? Right. For me, I know, and I'm gonna get personal on here because hey, y'all rocking with the million dollar marriage challenge, y'all rocking with the M4 show. So I'm assuming y'all know us, y'all rock with us, or you're in a comfortable space, in a safe space. Right. For me, being committed in a relationship, being committed in marriage was a huge unlock. Because if I can commit to that amazing, beautiful queen for the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years, that's a proof of concept to me that I can commit to a dream. I can commit to a long-term endeavor. And I think there's a struggle, especially when I was growing up, on doing something for a little bit and then stopping. All right. I'm gonna do Taekwondo when it's the free trial for a week. But when there's a commitment, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna do boys, what's that called? Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts for a day, 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna play football for this season, and then I'm gonna play track for this season. There was in my life no long-term commitment until marriage. And I think that is a huge unlock in life, being able to again truly commit yourself to something, to a dream, to a vision, to a person, to a lifestyle. And it's something that, Coach T was talking about, yesterday? What is your identity? And are you disciplined and committed to that identity? Okay. So again, 86% of millionaires are married. 62% of millionaires are utilizing a financial planner. They got a coach, Coach T. I don't know if you're watching on the live, but I know you're watching on replay. They have a coach, Coach T. All right. Wealthy people understand that they need help managing their wealth. All right. If you were to, try to get a six pack next week, if you were to try to, get into your physical peak, you would probably hire a health coach. You would probably hire a physical trainer. All right. If you were to study for grad school, or you studied to get into med school, you would probably hire a tutor at some point. Maybe you would go to a counseling office. You would be coached in that process. But for some reason, and this is something that me and the Queen are also getting over. We just got our financial planner. What was that? Maybe like 8 months ago. It was a good session. It was a good step forward that someone else is advocating on our behalf and has the expertise to help us reach our goals. But before that, the goal was always, I want to be a millionaire. I want to build wealth. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it's like, Devon, you don't have a wealth coach. Are you really serious about building wealth? All right. So highly encourage y'all. Wealth coaches are more affordable than you may think. And usually they're getting some type of commission off of some of the other services that they're giving you. Right. So it won't be a huge out of pocket experience. We're not promoting any wealth coaches, right? We're just saying in general, find a financial planner and get coaching in things that you are seriously pursuing. Okay. Last stat that I'll throw out there, and I'm just trying to set the mood. Right. 86% of millionaires are married. Our main target audience is married couples. So y'all are already on track to become a millionaire just by being married and committed to each other. 62% of millionaires have a financial planner. So sometime during this next month, 2 months, or at the beginning of the year, you should be scoping out who can be my financial planner. Where do I get a financial planner at the start of 2023? And then lastly, 66% of millionaires own their own business. They're entrepreneurs like us, like you. They're entrepreneurs, y'all. All right. So I'm just trying to hopefully get you encouraged that you have what it takes to not only have a $1 million business in the sense of, or $1 million marriage, right? $1 million marriage in the sense of its value, in the sense of its commitment, in the sense of its durability, its lastfulness, but you also have what it takes to become a millionaire. All right. Appreciate you. I see Alondu in here put 3 streams. Come on, 3 streams. Much love, much love. All right, let's get into it. So, if you do want to start a business, we're going to give you a little bit of a framework. Okay. I'll give you a little bit of a framework and understand that these types of businesses, they do overlap. They can flow into each other. But if you've never started a business before, if you're trying to get a little bit of clarity in what your business is, hopefully this can help you out. Okay. So I've distilled all the different types of businesses there are out there into 3 simple categories. Number 1, we have a problem-based business. All right. So this is typically a service or a product-based business that solves a problem or addresses a need in the community. All right. It solves a problem or it addresses a need in the community. This can be a handyman. This can be a food app. I don't know if y'all remember our food app. That's going to be a whole podcast episode one of these days. A babysitter, which, me and the Queen kind of disagreed on a little bit. Y'all let me know. Is a babysitter, is it a problem? Do babysitters solve problems? Maybe not. I could be wrong on that. It's all good. It's all good. She's still saying no. No, what were you saying, Sinclair? Is a babysitter a business? He said, like the meme and the baby. All right. But babysitting, tax services, right? Every year, A problem is they're taking too much taxes from me, Devon. It's a problem. I'm sick of it. I need someone to solve it for me. All right. Or, of course, a board game company, right? The problem that we're solving as a board game company is the problem of people not knowing about Tulsa Black Wall Street, the problem of the fact that the average African American has a net worth of $17,000, while the average white American has the average net worth of $171,000. It's a problem. The fact that only 2% of married couples have a net worth of $1 million. It's a problem that Play Black Wall Street, that M4 is working to solve. All right. So, one type of business is a problem based business. You are passionate. You see a problem out there in the world and you want to be a part of the solution. You want to solve that problem. All right. That's the first type. That's the type that I like a lot. That's what we typically do. Right. What factors led you? All right, great question. And feel free, keep the questions flowing as I have time and as I don't get distracted. I will look over to the chat and I'll answer some of the questions. But what factors led you to finding the right financial planner? Great question. So, I'm a huge believer in one, mentorship, and two, learning from the mistakes of other people. Huge. That's why I read a lot of books. That's why I watch a lot of documentaries, because you're able to learn from the mistakes, from the experiences of other people. You can avoid those same mistakes. So one of my mentors of 5 years, and you know who you are. I don't know if you want me to put your business out there, so I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are. I appreciate you. But this person always had a lot of wealth talks with me, right? And I was kind of fresh out of college, got my first job, and they gave me a lot of nuggets on benefits, on retirement, on real estate, and been just, rocking with them for several years. Now, this year we had a conversation when I was leaving my previous job at the UC and coming over to a different job where the benefits were shifting a little bit. We had like a hour to 2 hour conversation about retirement. And since you're leaving the UC system, which had a great retirement plan, and you're going to this other job that doesn't have the retirement plan, you still need to make sure your finances are good. So then I was like, okay, well, talk to me about how you did it, right? I've been to this person's house. They're living pretty nice, well done. So I was like, talk to me about how you did it. So they were like, we went to this company, and again, this company is not a sponsor, but for the sake of transparency, we'll go ahead and let you know who we use. Northwestern Mutual, all right? Financial company out there, very, very well known, but there's other options. Okay. So I'm just saying that because that was our experience, but feel free to go to other people. But this person said, this is who I use. This is the setup. This is the typical costs. And these are the benefits of using this financial planner. So we gave them a call, set it up. It was pretty easy. I like that you can go into the portal. You can upload your real estate. You can upload your retirement account. You can upload your checking account. You can upload your stuff so that you can see actively your net worth, right? You have liabilities on this side. You have assets on this side. You have estimated net worth right there up front. It's just a nice little portal, right? So again, main factors, I'm serious about becoming a millionaire. In an active race against my dad, some cousins, and some of my fraternity brothers on who's going to become a millionaire first. And I'm just like, I need a coach. I don't know what y'all doing, but I'm going to get a coach so that I can seriously beat y'all in a respectful, we're all going to win at the end of the day race anyway. Right. So thank you for the question. Feel free to keep the questions flowing, keep them going, but highly recommend y'all get in touch with a financial planner, get in touch with a financial coach. Okay. Second type of business is going to be a passion based business. All right. So this can be a current hobby, a talent that you have, or your partner has, and you want to monetize this talent. All right. So this can be music, drawing, singing. Maybe you got some poetry bars, writing, gardening, sewing, anything like that. This is maybe something that you do already for free, right? You play video games every single night when you come home after work. How can you make money off of that? Right? You come home and the only thing that you want to do is sew. The only thing you want to do is puzzles. The only thing you want to do is make dances, TikTok dances, or just dances in general. Okay. How can you monetize that though? And in today's economy, I think you can almost monetize anything. And especially if you have the 1-2 duo in your household, right? Maybe one person is the dancer, like Sinclair. Maybe one person is the cook. She's an amazing chef, Sinclair. Maybe one person really loves to organize events, Sinclair. See, she got a lot of talent, y'all. And the other person is business focused. The other person knows how to market. The other person knows how to build websites. The other person knows how to do streaming. Put both those gifts together and monetize your talents, y'all. All right. Coach T talked about ROT yesterday. I don't know if y'all remember what ROT stands for, but it stands for, I'm letting some people maybe put it in the comments or say it out loud in their head for that satisfaction, ROT, right? Return on time. What are you doing with your time? And how is that effort, how is that use of time benefiting your life and benefiting your family's life? Return on time. If you know you're going to be playing video games for 3 hours anyway every single night, how can you increase your income with those 3 hours of video game play? If you know you're going to read and buy books every single week, how can you make a return on that investment? All right. So number 2 is a passion-based business. And lastly, again, there's a lot of overlap with some of these, right? But there is a kind of general focus in a passion. There's a focus in a problem, and there's a focus in a lifestyle-based business. This is a business that leverages your current lifestyle and pastimes to make income. Kind of similar to passion-based business, but this is more so based on you are promoting a brand, you are promoting a lifestyle through social media, through blogs, through YouTubes, through podcasts. All right. So some examples of this can be mom blogs, dad blogs. Shout out to Belief in Fatherhood, right? It's a really good vlog that Sinclair is obsessed with. And they've done an amazing job at not just monetizing, because I think sometimes there's other families, I'm not going to say their names, there's other families out there that monetize their family in kind of an unhealthy way. I feel like they do a really good way of showing the real, showing what's happening, but also giving lessons on fatherhood, especially for Black families, but still being able to monetize. So huge shout out to them. But yeah, parenting vlogs, travel vlogs. Y'all see all these YouTubers that are in Bali, they're in Madagascar, they're in Zanzibar, they're in Ghana, and they're just literally living life, traveling with their GoPro, eating food, and somehow they're getting paid for that. All right, so think about what are the things that you just love to do. There's people out there who love expensive cars, so they become influencers within the lane of foreign and expensive cars. There's people who really love food. And this is something that me and Sinclair need to talk about because we love food. We love some food. If y'all know us, we can throw down in the kitchen, but we can also throw down in any restaurant. And we need to figure out a way to make money off of our eating food. I'm laughing, but it's actually serious, Sinclair. All right. So, but there's people out there that literally get paid to travel the world, eat food, write critiques, make videos, and that's their business. That's their life. Right. So think about which one of these businesses do you want to start? You want to start a problem-based business? Do you want to start a passion-based business? Or do you want to start a lifestyle-based business? All right. Now, I want to go over some benefits. All right. Entrepreneurship is great. Entrepreneurship is one of the best decisions that I think I've made in my life. Obviously, second to marrying this amazing, beautiful, melanated, smiling. I feel your eyes, queen. Right. Outside of that, and of course, also join the signal. And there's some other stuff. But entrepreneurship, top 3, top 5 decisions. Because of some of these reasons. Not all. There's more. But one, it gave me the opportunity to use my gift and gifts a little bit more. Humbly, I feel like I have a lot of gifts. And I think sometimes when you're in the 9 to 5, you go you work and they're saying, hey, do this. This is your job. This is your scope of work. These are your requirements. These are your duties. Do these things. And it's like, oh, but I'm also good at this. Can I do this? No. Don't do that. Do this. Okay. Okay. And you're happy for a while. But then you're like, oh, but I actually want to do this. Can I do this? No, that's not your job. Do your job. And entrepreneurship gave me an outlet to use some additional gifts that I had to create and to just be more in my purpose. Number two, you get to work with your spouse more. I don't know. We noticed this at the beginning of the global shutdown. The fact that I would leave for work, at like 7, she would leave for work at 6:30 sometimes. We don't get back home until 6 or 7. We spend some time eating dinner together and then we go to sleep. So it was like Monday through Friday, we were spending maybe 3 hours of time together. And to be honest, after a long day of work, you get home, you cook, you eat. Most of that time is watching TV, right? So an hour to 2 hours of that time, we're watching Netflix, we're watching Hulu because we've had such a long, stressful day. We talk a little bit and then we go to sleep. And in the morning, we do it all over again. When we had the global shutdown and she got to work from home, I got to work from home, we were together all day, y'all. It was different. You with your best friend, you with your queen, you with your partner all day. All the jokes, right? The midday walks, the midday exercises and dance sessions. We get to cook more together. We was able to spend more quality time Monday through Friday together. And then something happened for us. Something happened, and maybe have happened to you too. People started to have to go back to work in person. So after spending months, I don't know if it was months with the Queen home, at least weeks, if not multiple months, being able to be with each other Monday through Friday, almost all day, and then going to back to the 3 hours, 2 hours, we were spoiled. We couldn't go back. It was like, oh, I miss you. Oh, I miss you. Oh, these people at the job are irritating. Oh, these people at my job are irritating. It was different, right? So one huge benefit is being able to work with your spouse. The queen now works full time. I'm now full time remote. So we get to spend a lot of good time together. Number three, you get to work from home, get to work from anywhere. We've had times where we're in Chicago, we're in Charlotte, we're in Atlanta working. There's been times where I'm in Ghana working. Right? The fact that we can literally be anywhere in the world and still be building wealth, still be representing the brand. You're in control of your time. Number 5, tax deductions. Whether you're full time or a part time entrepreneur, you can start to take advantage of some tax deductions, right? And that's going to be what we cover tomorrow with Marjorie McPike. But whether it's your cell phone, it's your laptop, it's part of your car, your entire car, it's your business attire, it's maybe some business travel you need to do. There are some deductions that you can take to help minimize your 9 to 5 tax liability and your overall tax liability. Almost the most important, this is the second to last one, is you can pass the business down to your kids or to your family, right? You may have gotten an amazing job, right? Maybe you're making $100,000, $200,000, maybe you're making $300,000 at your job. Unfortunately, unless you work in a new age corporation, they're doing some new stuff. You can't pass on your job to your kids. All right, that's your wealth, that's your position. But once you leave that job and you retire, you can't pass that on. So to be able to build something like a Chick-fil-A, to be able to build something like a Walmart, to be able to build something like a Play Black Wall Street that can get passed down to your family and help them build wealth and help them not start off from the mud, like Sinclair said, is a huge benefit. Okay. So if you're watching this live or in the chat or live or on the replay, go ahead and put in one additional benefit that you see with starting a business. All right, what is the benefit of starting a business in your head? And we're almost going to talk about real estate, y'all. We're going to get to real estate in a second, but I want to talk about the hard side of entrepreneurship. No, we're gonna have an honest conversation, y'all. When we first started entrepreneurship, it's like, yeah, entrepreneurship. You're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, everyone's living their best life, everyone's making thousands and millions of dollars. Everyone has an ad on YouTube that can teach you how to make $10,000 tomorrow, right? But then you actually start entrepreneurship and you're like, no one told me about this other side. No one said it would be difficult. It will be a little bit hard, a little bit of a struggle at times, right? So a little bit of the cost of entrepreneurship, you will have to do the work or set up a system. You know, and a really good book is The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, where he talks about how you can create a system and use your time efficiently so that even as an entrepreneur, you can work for 4 hours a week and you can get the results of 40 hours a week. But even with that, you still have to build the system. You still need to put in the upfront work. All right. Work-life balance may be a little bit of a struggle, especially if you're a workaholic like myself. All right. Work-life balance can be a little bit of a struggle. And, friends and family may not understand your hustle, your grind to build a business, and they may not support your business directly. All right. I know sometimes you think, oh, I got this t-shirt company, I got this board game company. If I can just get my 200 family members to order a shirt, if I can get them to order a bracelet, if I can get them to do some health coaching, boom, I'll be good. But sometimes that's not how it works. A majority of your customers will come from outside of your network, right? You may get started with your friends and family. You may get 10, 20, 30 folks, but that's not how you're going to sustain your business. So you're going to need to grow outside of that. And then lastly, you are forced to be in the driver's seat, right? When you start working at McDonald's, it's my first job. When you start working at Walmart, when you start working at Nike, Pepsi, when you start working at these corporations, you're almost on autopilot, right? They have their onboarding process. You don't need to set up your retirement account. Really, you need to make an election, right? You need to choose which retirement, but they set up your retirement account. They give you your benefits. They tell you your schedule. They even tell you what you're going to do in this job each day, each week. If they're nice, they'll give you some KPIs, some key performance indicators so you can measure your success at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year. But all that is given to you, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you are in the driver's seat. You need to create your own retirement account. You need to go find your own health care. You need to create your own schedule, agenda, task list, or post-it note list, like the Queen likes to do. Right. So it is, I love it. Right. Again, I think it's one of the best decisions we've made in our journey. And I still highly encourage every family to own a business. But I want to be upfront and let y'all know it's not always easy. And you will need to be taking responsibility. All right. Now, I want to go over 5 simple steps to actually launch. All right. If you're watching right now and you're like, yes, entrepreneurship is it. I'm ready. Let's do it. Go ahead and put launch inside of the comments, launch inside of the chat. You can see that flowing, see that going, see that growing, see that. Hey. All right. Let's get into it. 5 simple steps for your launch pad. All right. So step number 1. Do you want to start a problem-based business, a passion-based business, or a lifestyle-based business? All right. Which lane are you going into? All right. And this is where you should definitely be taking out your notes, answer some of these questions. That way, when you're over this holiday break, you can start taking some action. What I want y'all to be able to execute these 5 simple steps within January. Right. By January, I think y'all can have these down. I think so, but the Queen knows I be pushing timelines sometimes. But number 2, right? After you decided which type of business you're going to start, a problem-based business, a passion-based business, or a lifestyle-based business, then determine by year 4, how much annual income do I want to be making? Now, why do you think I say year 4 and not the first year? Right? Why year 4 and not year 1? Why not month 1, Devon? Why y'all think? So over 50% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. Right? So what you need, what I need, what we need is to make sure we're creating a vision from the start. We are creating a vision from the start to go past the first 3 years to beat out the other 50% of businesses. All right. So I want you to create that vision. I want you to commit emotionally, spiritually. I want you to commit to being in this business for 4 years. Now you can pivot along the way. And if there's serious market turns or market shifts, maybe do a huge pivot or do a different type of business. But from the start, I want you to be like, okay, I'm going to do this podcast. I'm going to do this YouTube channel. I'm going to do this board game for at least 4 years. And by the 4th year, I want to be making X amount of dollars. All right. Step number 3, identify using either the DISC assessment, which we've given y'all a free DISC assessment if you registered for this. If you haven't taken it yet, go to the calendar invite or go to the emails that you've been receiving and definitely take advantage of your free DISC. Brought to you by Married Into Crazy. We appreciate y'all, Ernie and Rana. But identify using the DISC assessment or some other personality tools what role you and your partner are best equipped to play in the business. There's a time, y'all, where I was trying to do payroll and I was also trying to do the marketing and I was trying to do the sales. I was trying to do the editing, and we were making a little bit of progress in Playback Wall Street, but not a lot. And I was going crazy. I go front. I was going crazy. We then brought the queen in. The queen brought in her systems, her analytical brain, her ability to do payroll, her ability to process and onboard staff. And we've seen an exponential growth because she has that analytical superpower, that analytical brain, now a partial pilot and driver brain now. And I have the high I, the people oriented, the energy. I like to speak, I like to inspire, I like to motivate side. All right. So now we're both each able to operate in our gifts, and the business is able to expand greater than it was when I was trying to do things that I wasn't really equipped to do. Okay. So use a DISC assessment or use other personality tools to figure out what is my gift. Number 4, I need you to brainstorm your brand's core ideology, mission, vision, and values. All right. Mission. What do you do? Who do you do it for? And how do you do it? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And how do you do it? What's your vision? All right, that's step number 2. Mission is 1, vision is 2. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, how will your business impact the world and change society forever? I mean, it doesn't have to be, that big and hefty, but that's how we try to roll, right? How will your business or brand make an impact in society and change people's lives? And then lastly, what are your core values? All right, what are 5 words, 7 words that your business will live by? Now, yesterday, Coach T had us go through our mantra, had us go through our creed, right? Had us go through our life operating principles. If you've done that homework already, you can probably build your core ideology for your business out of what your family is going to represent. Now, you can make them align, you can make them parallel. All right, now that's homework that me and the queen still have to do. We have our mission for the M4 show. We have our mission for Playback Wall Street, but we haven't created our family mantra, our family mission. But just know it will align with the already established mission. So Coach T, looking forward to having our one-on-one session with you and building that out. All right. And then lastly, you need to check availability and reserve your digital real estate. All right. So you can go to Google Domains, you can go to GoDaddy, you can go to what was it, Bluehost. There's all types of places where you can buy domains. Personally, I buy a lot of stuff off of Google. I just like how it works. All right. So you go there, you type in your business idea, right? Melanated Married Millionaires in the making.com. Boom, get that domain, but you can't because it's ours. The M4show.com, get that domain. You can't because it's ours, but you claim your real estate, right? AlonduChronicles.com. Go ahead and go get that domain. And then go to your social media, go to your Instagram, go to your Twitter, go to your YouTube, and go ahead and grab your digital real estate. All right. Now, if you are interested in getting additional support in actually launching your business, every Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we host an accountability call. All right, this is for entrepreneurs who are interested in building their business. You can go to www.launchitcommunity.com and you can register for free for this accountability group. Now, it's free because we love y'all, because this is the $1 Million Marriage Challenge, and we want to give y'all as much value as possible. All right, so go to www.launchitcommunity.com. There is a book that also is available. That's not free. You got to pay for the book. Now, you got to invest in something, y'all. All right, you got to put a little bit, sow a seed. You can go ahead and grab that book. That book was written by myself in 2021, and it goes through the 7 easy steps to launch a business in a little bit more detail than we did in this simple 5-step guide. Okay. Queen, how you feeling over there? I'm good. You almost ready to talk to these people about real estate? Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna speed through these slides because I want y'all to get to real estate because the Queen got some good stuff. But real quick, intellectual property. There's 3 different types of intellectual property. Not going to have time to go through all of this, right? But this is just an introduction. There's a copyright, which gives you the right to copy, distribute, or use for economic gain a digital or physical product. This can be music. This can be a book. This can be a movie. This can be a song. You own the copyrights to it. You can license that copyrights to different organizations like a Spotify, like the AMC movie theater, like YouTube, in order for them to make money. There's a trademark. A trademark is a symbol, a word, or words that are legally registered to establish, use, or represent a brand, company, or product, right? So Nike is a trademark. Black Wall Street, the board game, is a trademark. YouTube is a trademark. It lets you know where a source of goods is coming from. All right. So most likely, if you're starting a brand, the minimum IP you're going to want to get is a trademark to let folks know where your products are coming from. And then lastly is a patent. A patent is a government authority or license that gives you the sole right to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention. All right. So you've created a patent, you've created a specific way of how virtual meetings can go. Zoom actually did this, right? They created their own patents for virtual meetings. They created their own patents for how you call customer service. They own that technology, and other people can't use their specific way of doing it. That's why when you go to Zoom versus Google Meets, it looks completely different. And you're like, goodness, oh, why am I using Google Meets? Why isn't it as good as Zoom? It's because Zoom has patents that stops Teams, Microsoft Teams, stops Skype, stops Google Meets from doing things exactly the way that Zoom does. Okay. So we're going to do another deep dive into IP another time, but these are the 3 different types of IP. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put them inside the comments and we can get to them later. But at a minimum, if you're starting a business, you're definitely going to want to secure your trademark for your business name or for your logo. All right. And then the last one I'm going to talk about very briefly is stocks, investing in the stock market. So y'all can go ahead and you can take a picture, a screenshot of this. But there's 4 different ways, primary ways. There's different life insurance and all types of other stuff, but these are kind of the 4 primary ways you can invest in the stock market. There's bonds, which are more like a loan, an IOU to the government or to a corporation. There's stocks and shares of individual companies like a Nike, like a alphabet company, aka Google, like a Tesla, and you buy one share, you buy thousands of shares in that particular company, and now you have ownership. There's ETFs or index funds where you can buy one share of that index fund and you're invested in several different businesses. It's a great way to diversify your portfolio, and it's a great way to invest in an entire sector like the S&P 500, the Dow, the what's the other one? Oh, I'm forgetting that technology one off the top of my head. What is it? It's going to bother me. NASDAQ. Thank you, Sinclair, for sending that through the ether. All right. And then, of course, there are mutual funds. This is a pool of money that's actively managed by investors, and they go out and they find things to invest in, whether it's real estate, whether it's different funds, whether it's index funds, whether it's companies, but they're actively controlling where your money goes. Okay. Again, at another time, I guess I spent way too much time talking about entrepreneurship. But I love it so much, y'all. But go ahead and take a picture, take a screenshot of this, the different types of securities that there are, and maybe some pros, some cons, some differences between them. Okay. I'm rushing a little bit because I definitely want to make sure Sinclair has time to get to her slides. We will do a deeper dive. This isn't the last challenge. This isn't the last time you can engage with us. If you want to learn more about IP, stock market, anything like that, definitely make sure y'all tap into the M4 show on a weekly basis. And of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get more information and notification when we have a new episode. Now, we are looking for a stock market expert to be a guest on our podcast. All right, we want someone who can do a deep dive into the different strategies on how people can take advantage of the stock market, go into 401k, go into which index funds give the most return and dividends over time, and really be able to take a deep dive into it. So if you know somebody, or if you are that somebody, go ahead and email Devon at playblackwallstreet.com and we'll go ahead and get that set up. Okay. Now, any questions? I feel like I just ran 100-yard. No, I ran a 400-meter in very small amount of time. I don't know what a good time is anymore for a 400. I'm gonna say like 20 seconds. Oh, it was a lot. Queen, you ready to go? All right, I'm gonna bring down my presentation. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. The Queen's now going to go over her amazing stuff on real estate. She is our real estate guru. She is the lead in the department.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, that's broke. All right. Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, here I am, folks. And I'm going to be talking about real estate. And, I'm an analytical person. I'm a numbers type of gal. So for me, real estate makes the most sense. It does. But before we get into it, I want to first ask everybody, put a 1 in the comments if you are in the real estate industry. And put a 2 in the comments if you are thinking about entering into the real estate industry. And we'll probably see some 1s and some 2s. The catch is that this is a trick question, because regardless of whether you are actively in the industry or thinking about it, everybody is in the industry of real estate. Whether you are owning your property, whether you are paying rent, you are in the business of real estate, which is why I personally really think that it is a good investment for everybody to make, because everybody needs it. All right. So let's jump into it. Thank you. You want me to do this? Okay. Your hand is broken now. Okay. How do I make it? I don't want this. I want bigger.
2 more to the right.
Okay, perfect. All right. So let's first talk about why you should invest in real estate. I'm going to break down a couple of reasons. One, Devon already mentioned it, but 90% of millionaires are invested in real estate. I'm going to run that back one more time. 90%, 9 out of every 10 millionaires are invested in real estate. What does that tell you? There is a reason why most of the world's millionaires are invested in real estate, because it is a sound investment. It is a need-based sector. So as I mentioned again, at any given point, doesn't matter what's going on in the world, whether we're in a pandemic or whether we're in a depression, whatever it is, people need a place to live because we need to exist. And so people need a place to live. So it is a need-based sector. It will always be needed. It's almost a guaranteed appreciation. And by appreciation, I mean it will gain value over time. If you think about your grandparents, right? If you have grandparents who own their home or have bought a property at some point in their life, ask them how much they paid for that property. Okay. It is going to be pennies to a dollar for what properties are worth today, right? They probably paid what, $50,000 or something, if that, for a property. Whereas today we live in California, you're looking at like $500,000 plus for the average property. And not for the average is probably much higher than that, but even for the lower range, right, it's like 500,000. Like, that's a crazy appreciation. So think about if you had bought something at $50,000 and it's now worth 500,000, how much money and net worth, right, how much money you have access to, how much equity you have built in the real estate market. So it may not be a short-term, right, guarantee of appreciation, because the market does go up and down. But if you look at the period of time over one generation, so from you to your children, it is almost guaranteed to appreciate in value. So again, if you're in here, we're in the long game, right? We're in it for generations to come. Real estate is a very good investment to pass down to future generations. Perfect segue into the last reason why you should invest in real estate. It's something that can be easily passed down to future generations, right? Property is something that you can pretty easily say, I want this to go to my children. I want this to go to my children's children, right? You can pretty easily say that with whoever owns it, but also like in a will or a trust, you can say where you want your properties to go. So it makes it a very easy way to create generational wealth. Shout out to us in our first property that we purchased, taking our little picture. We're very proud new homeowners. All right, so now let's jump into different real estate investing strategies. Some of these I'm going to go into a little bit of a, I don't want to say deep dive. This is really an introduction to all of these. And of course, the same disclaimer goes here. I'm not a real estate expert. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not a broker, anything like that. I'm just providing you information that I have learned thus far. And so these are the strategies that I am aware of. Buy and hold, fix and flip, the BRRRR method. And if you're wondering what that is, make sure you stick around. Wholesaling and REITs, okay, or real estate investment trusts. So let's jump into it. The first one we're going to go into is buy and hold. And this is basically what it sounds like. You're going to acquire a property and then you're going to hold on to it to build equity. And so this can allow you to do a couple of different things to actually make money from this property. One, you can rent it out. So now you're getting monthly cash flow from someone renting your property from you, right? They are now paying. I think we've all paid rent at some point in our life. You are now going to be on the receiving end of that rent. Someone is going to be paying you to live in the house that you own. You can live in it yourself. Now, that's not typically going to provide any type of immediate return. However, you can still build equity, especially if you buy your property in the right area. And then lastly, you can tap into equity for future investments. And I do say for future investments because that's how I would recommend you using any type of equity money that you're able to pull out, whether through a HELOC or through, refinancing and pulling out some of that money in cash. I think it's best to keep the investments going, right? Keep it going, use that money to get another property. But these are some of the ways that you can take advantage of the buy and hold method. The next one we're going to go over is the fix and flip. And sorry, before I go into fix and flip, one of the things that I also want to talk about with buy and hold is the advantage, or one of the benefits is that you You now own this property, right? You may have a a 30-year mortgage, right? Or a 15-year, $30 mortgage. Sign me up. But you may have a 15 to 30-year mortgage, but after that, you now own this property. You can pass it down as you please. You can rent it out to who you please. You can rent it out to family. You can, put it on the market. You can do whatever you want, but you own it, and you own it outright. So that's one of the benefits. The next method we're going to go over is fix and flip. Now, I don't know about y'all. I was one of those interesting children who loved to watch like renovating shows like Trading Spaces. The other ones are escaping me, but they would basically like renovate homes. And I used to love watching those. So if you are like me and you like to watch those type of renovating shows, this is typically the method that they're using. Joanna and Chip Gaines, whatever their show is called, they do this, right? Where you find a property that needs to be renovated, you renovate it to build equity. And that just means basically that you are putting money into it so that it is worth more, right? When you redo the kitchen, when you add new cabinets and marble counters and, new hardwood floors and you paint it, right? All of those things add to the value of that property. And what that basically is just, what would someone pay for it, right? And typically someone would pay more for a house that is renovated. So that is how you increase the value of the property. And in this specific investment strategy, then you sell the property, right? So in this strategy, there's not necessarily long-term ownership involved. It's more short-term ownership where you buy it, you only really own it during the renovation period, and then you sell it. Now, this is more of an active investment strategy because, again, you do, have to renovate it. So you're going to need to be involved in that process at some point, whether you're actively doing the renovation or whether you are hiring someone, a general contractor, to handle that. But you still need to be involved in that in some way, shape, or form. One of the benefits, though, is that your return on investment does come a little bit quicker, right? You don't have to wait 30 years or you don't have to wait a generation for that equity to build up because you are kind of forcing that equity on the property. And once you do that and you sell it, now you can pocket that cash, or as I recommend, continue to reinvest in further real estate properties. Okay. Of course, one of the I don't want to say drawbacks because it really is all depending on what you personally want. But again, you don't own this property anymore once you sell it. So you do have a nice wad of cash that you can maybe go now and buy a property that you hold on to. But if you implement this methodology, keep in mind that you're not going to outright own this long term, but you are going to be able to get that cash pretty quickly, right? Within probably like 6 months to a year, you'll be able to pocket some of that cash. So it's a little bit of a quicker return on your investment. This is also the last thing I want to mention here is that one of the ways you can really double down on your investment is choosing to do this type of strategy in a market that's up and coming. Because not only are you going to get the equity that you are building in it from the renovation, but you're also going to get the equity from all of the things going around in the community, right? So if they're building a new park or a new arena or a new apartment building that's going up, across the street, those are all things that can also increase the property value that can improve your equity as well. All right, let's go into the BRRRR method. So BRRRR stands for buy, renovate, refinance, and rent. So this methodology is basically where, it's very straightforward. You buy the property, you acquire the property. It's kind of a mixture of the two methods I already mentioned, buy and hold and the fix and flip. So you buy a property, you renovate it to build that equity. You then do a cash out refinance. I don't think it has to be a cash out, but if you want to keep this going, a cash out refinance is the way to go. And that is basically where you refinance for the new value of the property and you take out the cash in the equity that you've built in the property in cash. And that allows you to continue to do this real estate investment strategy. And then instead of like for fix and flip, you would then sell it. So the difference between fix and flips and the BRRRR method is you hold on to the property and then you rent it out. So again, it's kind of the best of both worlds, where now you maintain ownership and you can rent it out and get that monthly cash flow, but you also get more immediate return on investment as well when you refinance. That can allow you to, again, purchase another property and do the same thing. This strategy right here is how a lot of real estate millionaires are made, because it allows you, again, to just keep going. And you really only need the initial investment to get that first property, because after that, you can use the profits from when you refinance to get your next property, and you just keep going. And each time you acquire a new property, you're getting, right, as long as you're holding on to it, you're going to get more money on a monthly basis when you get someone in your apartment, in the unit, renting it out. So we're actually using this method right now. We are in the renovates part of it, so we're still early in BRRRR. Yeah, we're in the BRRRR. So we are in the renovate portion, but we are, this, I think for me, again, I'm an analytical person. When I saw this, it was like, well, duh, this is a perfect way to invest in real estate. And it really just makes sense. So I definitely, recommend looking into this method if real estate investment is something that you're wanting to get into. Now, the last couple ones that I mentioned, wholesaling and I put fund, but it's actually trust. These are going to be honorable mentions because I'm not super knowledgeable on either of these. I just know that they exist and they're great options if you don't necessarily want to own a property outright, alone. And so wholesaling is basically where someone would put a distressed property under contract, and then they sell that contract to investors. So this typically is for, more distressed properties, undervalued properties. They put it under contract and they sell the contract. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know much about wholesaling, but if it sounds like something that would be interesting to you, absolutely go look into it. And the last one here is a REIT, or a real estate investment trust. And so these are basically companies that own or finance real estate projects that produce income. So you can invest and own a part of this trust so that you now get dividends whenever these properties produce income. So that is a way to invest, again, in part of a company that is doing this process, and now you get dividends from that company. So again, you're still in the real estate business, but not quite owning the properties and buying the properties outright. So if it's a little bit intimidating for you to go into the real estate business, this is another way you can still be in the industry and make money from it. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about here are the different types of properties that you can invest in. So there are single family homes or single family properties, and those are what they sound like, right? A building or a house or a unit where one family can live. And that can be a standalone house, like with a picket fence in the yard, right? It can also be a condo. It can be, some apartment buildings actually are individually, all of the units are individually owned. So that would be considered a single family home. There are multi-family units or multi-family homes, and that is anywhere from a 2-unit to a 4-unit. So, if you're driving down the neighborhood and you see those houses that look like they have 2 doors, right? Two driveways in them, they're a duplex or a triplex or a quadplex, 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit. Those are considered multi-family units. A real estate hack that a lot of people, and especially a lot of big time millionaires say that they use to enter into the industry is basically a house hack where you own a multifamily, you live in one of the units, and then you rent out the others and allow the profit, the monthly cash flow from the other units to pay your mortgage. So if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're basically living for free. Okay. And that's how a lot of people get started in the real estate game is think about how much money you would save if you did not have to pay rent or a mortgage. If you could live for free, that is typically one of our largest expenses is rent or mortgage. So if you could eliminate that, think about how much money you'd be able to save to continue to reinvest. So that's definitely a hack that you can use. And one of the great things about both single family and multi-family homes is that you can use, there's a lot of programs out there that allow you to acquire these properties for a low down payment, or no down payment at all. Right there, I think Bank of America just started a whole project, a whole initiative right now where they're allowing zero down payment. They have a whole zero down payment program that you can look into. There are stipulations with that, but it's a good option to look into. And you can do the same thing with multifamily homes. There's also FHA loans where you only have to pay 3.5%, right? Typically, the standard is like 20% down. That is a very big barrier for a lot of folks to enter into the industry. One of the cool things about the single family and multifamily homes, if you're going to occupy it yourself, is that you can use an FHA loan and only pay 3.5% down. And now, again, you can house hack where you live in one of those units and rent out the other 1, 2, or 3 units. Allow that rent to pay your mortgage. Something to think about. And lastly, there are commercial properties. So that's typically anything larger than 4 units is going to be considered a commercial property, as well as hotels, any businesses, right? Hotels, office buildings, storefronts, apartment complexes. Those are all considered commercial properties. And so those typically have a large cash flow. You think about like a big office building, they're going to be paying a lot monthly, right? Because they're making a lot of money monthly. As well as like apartment complexes. If you have a 12-unit apartment complex and all of those 12 units are full and paying monthly cash flow, that's a good amount of cash flow. However, one of the caveats about commercial properties is they do usually require a little bit more of a down payment. So, it might not be something to go into as your first property, but definitely something to work up to, something that we definitely hope to work up to. Yeah. Okay. So that's all we're going to really cover for real estate. Hopefully that gave you a little bit more clarity. We're not going to do a super deep dive. It's like an introduction. Some things for you to think about. Maybe you learned a new method of investing that you didn't know before. But the main takeaway that I want you all to leave from this real estate section is that we are all in the real estate industry. So you might as well be on the profiting side of the business. I'm just saying. If we know we're all going to be in the business, you might as well get your money. That's it. It just makes sense. Okay. King, you ready to take it away?
What am I taking away?
I don't know. You're closing us out.
We're closing us out. All right, beautiful people. So again, the Queen didn't mention that she did a whole 9-step deep dive on how to buy your first property. So highly recommended. I think it's episode like 133 or 132 of the M4 show. Y'all can go to the website, m4show.com, and go to the 9 steps to buy your first property. That episode was an hour and 45 minutes.
It sure was.
So if you really want a deep dive in all the steps that you should do, definitely make sure y'all check this out. But hopefully within this episode, within this day 3 of the challenge, you got a good sense of, okay, I have options.
Right.
If I want to build wealth, I can do a business, I can do intellectual property, I can buy an apartment complex. I have options, and you have the capabilities and hopefully the partner to get it done. Okay? Let's build these $1 million marriages. Queen.
Yes.
When I present this, can I keep going on your presentation or should I go back to my presentation? Talk to me.
You should go back to yours.
I should.
Yeah, you should. So, unless there is one more slide on there. But while you do that, I wanted to really just stress something that I believe you mentioned earlier. And that's, I think it's good to start with one stream of income, right? Really just understand what you're doing with one of those, get comfortable with that one stream of income. But most millionaires have multiple streams. So don't get stuck with one stream, right? Definitely make sure to diversify your portfolio as much as possible, because that is how you become recession proof, right?
Shout out to Marcus.
Yes, that is how you become recession proof, because if anything happens with any one industry and all of your money is coming from that one industry, you might be in trouble, right? But if you really diversify your income streams, you should be okay if stuff hits the fan, right?
Yeah. Being economically durable or flexible. Love it. Okay. So as a reminder for folks, come back tomorrow. We're gonna be doing a deep dive with Marjorie McPike on tax strategies. All right, tomorrow, Saturday, Texas. Tomorrow, Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are registered, you'll receive the notification. If you've been added to the wait list, you'll receive that calendar invite just like usual. So make sure y'all pay attention to the emails and definitely check out the website. Go to milliondollarmarriagechallenge.com where we have the workbook for day 3 and the social media post for day 3 as well. Right? I really want to make sure you're not just sitting here watching and consuming, but you're able to take some actionable steps and really reflect on what you learned here today so that you can continue to apply this information and build that $1 million marriage. So as usual, this is the M4 show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making. We hope y'all secure the marriage. We hope y'all secure the love. And of course, we hope y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.